Okay, good morning. So this is a short video on if statements in Python. So what I'm going to be showing you today is how to make use of Python if statements, and we're going to be looking at a lot of things. So let's jump into it straight up. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we are going to first understand what if statement is. So if statements are simply used to check conditions. So what type of conditions? Maybe probably based on a variable for or something else. For example, if they are based on a condition. For example, if your car is approaching the traffic lights, the next action you're going to take is going to be depending on what the light is. For example, if the light is red, you are meant to red means stop. That means you're going to stop. And if the light is at maybe green, your action is to go. So in this kind of situation, we are meant to use if statement if we're going to represent this in code, because it's very, very important that your code doesn't just run like this. It's something called control flow. You want your code to do something based on another thing. So in Python, the way if statements are written is that we first use the keyword if, all lowercase, and then we'll write the condition. And after the condition, we're going to have a colon. And after the colon, we are going to give an indentation. That means a tab space is going to decide which code we are going to run if that if statement is true. So let's say we say if condition, we are going to say if the condition is we're going to say if the condition is green, then the block of code is going to tell us to go. So this is a situation. So now let's do a live example of a traffic light. So let's say we have a variable. Let's call that variable light. We're going to say light is equal to the string red. So we can use if statements. We say if light is equal to, remember we're using conditions and we don't just use one equal to in condition, because one equal to is used to denote that we are trying to create a new variable. But now we're not creating a new variable, neither are we assigning a variable. So we're going to say if light is equal to green, we are going to say print go. We are printing out a string. I'm going to say print go. So let's see what will happen in this code. So I'm also going to show you a little hack. This is for those who are running Python on their laptops. So if you are let's not do that yet. For if you are using VS Code, you can just click on this run button and it will run it for you. But if you are not using VS Code, don't do that, please. If you are using Python, you can right click and run your code automatically. So in this one, we see that we don't get any output. Why? We checked if the light is red. I mean, light is red, but rather we are getting green here, so we don't get anything. So what we can do is to write another if statement. We see if light is equal to red, and we're going to do a print stop. So we're going to run it again. I'm going to run it real quick. So as you can see, it gave me stop at the bottom here, which means that this if statement is true. That's why we got stop. So yes, this is just a brief definition of the if statement. We also have something apart from the if statement. We call this the elif. Elif is like saying else if. That means if this condition is not true and you are trying to run another if statement. So let's do that right now. If this condition is not true, we're going to say else if, or in Python it's called elif. If light is equal to, let's say, yellow, we are going to say print, just be patient. Now what happens is that if Python check this condition and the condition is not true, or that means if it is false, it's going to go to this next line and check the condition too. whether it's the same as this. Now in this situation, if we should run this code, we are still not gonna get anything because the light is neither red or yellow. But we can still write another elif condition, because you know the light is just 3, so we are going to check for 3 things. We are going to say elif light is equal to red now. So we are going to print stop one more time. So I'm going to save this and we are going to run it. So as you can see, we got stop. Now elif, like I said, is just else if. So if this is false, it's going to go to this next else if statement. It's just another if statement which is going to run it. If this is false, it's going to go to the next one and it's going to be going to the gets true. Now what's if in a situation it doesn't get to a particular place that is true? Let's say the light is black, which is kind of impossible, or light is not working. We are going to, now none of this condition is going to be true in this moment. So we have one more thing called the else statement. The else is something that runs if all these if statements are false. So we're going to say else. We're going to say print. Now else doesn't have a condition attached to it. You just write else there, and we're going to print traffic light not working. So as you can see, as long as we don't have green, yellow, or red, it's going to come to this point. So now that we have black, we are going to run this again. As you can see, it's printing out traffic light not working. Please ignore this first thing up here. You don't need to be concerned about it now. As long as you write the correct code, you're going to get output as me. So as long as none of this color here is not equal to this either green, yellow, or red, we are going to, let me space out my code. I love variable code. As long as none of our statement is in this condition, is going to give us the else statement. So if I should say pink and save this and I also run it again, it's going to still tell me traffic light not working. But if I should write something that is in either on this if or elif statement, like this yellow, and I should run it, it's going to give me just be patient. So this is just how if statement work. We have the if, the elif, which means else if, and then we have the else. Else only runs if all of this prove to be false. Now that is just a brief definition of an if statement. We could also have an if statement inside another if statement. For example, I'm going to say if light is equal to green, and we're going to give a variable. Let's say car is equal to black. So we are going to say if car is equal to green, it should do this. Now after printing go, and we're now going to say inside this light equal to green, we're going to add another if statement inside and say if car is equal to black. We're going to say print nice car. Now as you can see, we have another if statement inside this if statement. That is to tell you that you can have another if statement inside another if statement and it should work. So if our car is black, after getting green, it's going to also check for this condition to see whether it's true. Meanwhile, always mind your indentation. This space beside it is very, very important. Please, it is very important, guys. You don't want to leave it empty like that. So let's run this code. As you can see, we still got just be patient. Now why did we get just be patient? Because our light variable is still yellow. Now I'm going to change this to our light variable. I'm going to change it to green and save this. So before it gave us just be patient, now I'm going to run it again, and I can see it gave us go and it told us nice car. So you can see that you can even add another if statement inside this other if statement again and you will still get it. You can add if light is equal to green, which is true at this moment. We are going to say print, remove, and so on. You can also do the same for the else statements. You can do the same for the elif. They all work. Okay, so we got, okay, sorry, I said if car. We are going to say if light is equal to green. We are going to print out remove. I run this, so you can see we see go, nice car, remove. Yes, so that is going to happen if this condition is true. But if I change this light to red, you know, we are not going to get those other three statements. We're just going to get stop because it's only this code that will run since light is red. So thank you very much for listening to this tutorial. I really appreciate your time. So I'm going to be releasing more videos on using Python. This is just one of the many videos. Thank you very much and see you next time.